Today is April the 20th, 2015. My name is Tanya Finchum, along with Alex Bishop and Kylie Summers. We're in Claremore, Oklahoma, to speak with Lillian or Louise. Which do you go by?
Louise.
Louise Summers. And this is part of our Oklahoma 100-Year Life project. So thank you for having us today. Let's start with
It's all curiosity.
Hey, that's okay. Let's start with having you tell us when and where you were born.
I was in Portland, Indiana.
And when?
Well, in 1911.
Month and date?
July the 12th.
Okay. And did you have brothers and sisters?
Oh, yes.
How many?
Well, there were 7 children in the family.
And where were you in the order?
Well, my older ones were deceased during the scarlet fever epidemic.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm the oldest now living.
Okay. And how many brothers or sisters that are younger?
There's 6.
Okay.
I have 3 brothers and 3 sisters.
Okay. So you were kind of in the middle?
Yes.
Well, what brought you to Oklahoma?
The oil field.
Okay. In the 20s, 30s? What? About when?
Let's see, when did we come to Oklahoma? I think I was about 5. To put it down to years, I haven't figured it out.
So when you were a young child.
Oh, yes.
So then I should probably ask, what did your father do for a living?
He worked in the oil field.
Doing what? Do you know?
Well, you know, you start as a laborer and then you work up.
Okay. And so when you came to Oklahoma, you came to this area?
Rounds Ferry.
I'm not sure where that is.
Yeah, do you know where Skytuke is?
Uh-huh.
Okay. They're about 5 miles apart.
Okay. So where did you go to elementary school?
It's Ferry.
And high school?
It's Ferry.
Okay. And what year did you graduate?
29.
Okay.
I believe that's right.
That would be 1911 plus 18. I'll do my math. So your mother was a stay-at-home mom?
Yes.
Okay. Did she do a lot of canning?
Oh, definitely.
Had a big garden?
Yes.
And did she sew?
Yes.
Make your clothes?
Yes.
And did she teach you how?
Teach who sew?
Yeah. Yes.
Oh, not really. She didn't have time to teach anybody.
With that many children, I guess not, huh? Well, do you remember, did the house you grew up in have running water?
No.
No. Electricity?
Not for years.
Well, how would you do baths?
How do it?
Bath time?
Bath time
Mm-hmm.
in the wash tub.
And outside, inside?
Oh, inside.
We get answers both ways on that. In the kitchen or where?
Well, they built on the side of the house what they call the wash house.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where we did the laundry and it was just an extra room for various activities.
Was it heated?
Yes.
Was it? Well, when you did bath, how would you heat your water?
I would say we probably heated it inside the house and took it to the bath house.
And would you have to share the water?
Oh, yes,
Yeah.
the next one.
So did you get to go first or last?
Well, my sister and I took turns.
Well, how would your mother do laundry? On a washboard or?
Yes, that's the way you start out.
And then hung them out on the line?
Oh, yes. Wintertime, summertime.
Got icicles sometimes, huh?
Yes.
Well, describe the house for us on the inside. How many bedrooms and that type of
And
thing?
3 bedrooms. A living room, a very small dining area. And the kitchen was next to the dining
And how was it heated?
room by gas.
So 3 bedrooms, you had to share a room with your sister?
Oh, yes.
Did it have a closet?
A separate, like we call a closet now.
Mhm.
No.
A wardrobe then? You'd have to have a wardrobe.
Yeah.
Did you raise chickens?
Yes.
Whose job was it to kill them?
Oh, myself and my mother and I.
So the female
Uh-huh.
wasn't your dad.
No.
Did she have a system, how she did it?
Well, she would wring it next, but I took a hatchet and a stump.
That's a little easier, wasn't it?
Now, those are days that I don't like to think about. So,
We've improved since then, haven't
oh, yes.
we? The flavor hasn't, though. Chickens don't taste the same, do they?
No.
They don't.
Mm-mm.
Well, how far was your school from your house?
2 miles.
And would you have to walk to get
Yes.
there? Even through the rain, snow, whatever?
My senior year, they had a school bus to come about a fourth of a mile from where I lived.
A bus like we know it today, or was it different?
The bus,
Uh-huh.
they were different because they had benches on each side. That's where you sat. Ours stood up.
What color were they? Were they still yellow were they yellow back then?
Who?
The school bus? The bus?
I think it was a gray.
I don't have any idea when they started painting them yellow. I don't know when
No,
they started
no.
being yellow,
No, they didn't.
but yours was gray.
Mm-hmm.
Well, did you play any sports when you were in school?
Oh, yes, I played mostly baseball. And let's see, what else did we there was another game I remember we played, but I forget what they called it.
And the girls played baseball?
Oh, yes.
Did you play basketball any?
No,
No. What was your favorite subject?
arithmetic,
Math. Okay.
math.
And would you take your lunch, or did they have it?
Oh, no, we took, there wasn't such a thing as a school breakfast or anything.
So what would you take?
Mostly a sandwich and an apple or an orange.
Okay.
And if Mom made donuts, we took donuts.
Donuts.
Mm-hmm.
Ah.
Homemade donuts.
Fry them or bake them? How would you make them?
The donuts,
Would she bake or fry?
or fry, because you have to have a large amount of shortening.
Would you help much in the kitchen?
Yes, not to my liking.
That was part of your chores?
Yes. I don't like to think about when I grew up and all that. It wasn't easy.
No, but you
So I don't
survived.
really like to talk about it.
You didn't like doing chores, huh? You didn't like doing chores
No.
Did you have to do dishes?
Oh, yes.
That was your job?
You did everything.
You know,
Clean house.
whenever I'm talking about surviving when you were young, your older siblings died from scarlet fever, but you had it as well, right?
Mm-hmm.
You want to talk a little bit about having scarlet fever? I know you were young, but you could tell a casket story. Tell them about the casket.
Oh, okay. We lived in a rural area, so they brought. Now, see, life was different then. So they brought the caskets out to the house to pick up the person that died. Well, I had scarlet fever, and so they brought a casket along for me.
I didn't think she was gonna make it. Cause did you have medicine for scarlet fever, or you just had to get over it?
You know, I don't remember that, but there wasn't much medicine. Yeah.
And you were about how old? How old were you then?
Must have been around 4, because it's just before I went to start school.
And were you already in Oklahoma then?
Yes.
Were you?
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember that a little bit anyway?
Did I remember?
Do you remember having scarlet fever?
Vaguely, I would say I remembered I was sick.
Okay. That's pretty good if you can go back to 4 years old and remember. Well, if you didn't like doing chores, what would you do for fun?
We made up our own games.
Like what?
Well, we'd play cards in the evening.
We meaning your brothers and sisters or your parents, did they play too?
Yes. Because Mama, they played checkers, and Mama could beat Dad.
Well, I wonder if he let her.
No,
No.
no, he wasn't that type.
Well,
You're going to know more about me than my own children.
what were holidays like?
Well, we celebrated always for everybody's birthday. Mama baked a cake, and we always had chicken. Oh, and then they raised some pigs at one time. They butchered those.
Well, when she fixed chicken, did she fry it or bake it?
Most of the time it was baked.
Baked. And for Christmas, did you do anything special?
Well, we didn't have any money, so no, there wasn't anything special. I really do remember we got an orange one Christmas.
And Thanksgiving?
But we always celebrated somehow.
Well, when you finished high school, what did you do?
I worked in a store.
A clerk or
A clerk
where?
in the Sperry.
How big of a town is that?
Oh, it was just the railroad went through it. They didn't have beautiful stores like we have now. No, not it. Business wasn't like that. There wasn't the population that we have in years later.
Did it have a movie theater? Library?
A library? Not that I remember.
So you worked there for a while. When did you get married?
What year you mean?
Mm-hmm.
1933.
33. During the Depression.
Oh, yes. You can't, not unless you lived during those years, you can't, it's hard to describe it, because you just lived.
Can you tell us any more? What did your husband do for a living?
My husband,
Mm-hmm.
he worked for his father in the grocery store. And we were as we saved our nickels and dimes, we bought part of the grocery store. And it was groceries and markets. So that's the way we lived.
Well, during the Depression, the grocery stores had it pretty rough too, didn't they?
Yes, it did.
Would he?
You're saying that. Let me see if I can remember. We had to have it during booklets that had stamps, and you had to have so many stamps to get meat, so many stamps to get, not free, but this, you had to have those. I guess the government supplied it, but you had to have, I wish Barbara was home, because she has saved one of those books.
It's kind of like rationing, or was it something different from rationing? Rations?
Rationing,
Was that
but you had to have so many stamps to get.
like to get sugar? You'd have to have so
Uh-huh.
much. Well, would your father-in-law let people owe him?
Oh,
You know, take it
yes,
and
oh, yes.
Charge, I guess is
Yeah.
what it was then.
Mm-hmm.
Well, how did you meet your husband?
At a meeting,
Mm-hmm.
I was visiting a friend of the family in Chelsea. And, of course, he was working for his father in the store. That's favorite.
What would you do for dates?
He had a car, and we would sometimes drive to Claremore. Yeah.
What kind of, go ahead.
I started saying, and he liked the town of Joplin, because it wasn't as large as Tulsa. Yeah, but we'd go there.
What kind of car did he have? Do you remember?
It was a Chevrolet, had one, it was a seat for the driver, and then a small seat in the back of that.
So when you went on a date, you sat in the back?
No, usually he could drive the car.
How did he ask the question?
I don't remember.
You just said yes.
Yeah, I guess I said yes.
And what was his name?
His name was Raleigh, but in school, if it had to, and there was an old comic section at what a man that, this is in the cartoon, that couldn't run very fast. His name was Sparky. And my husband couldn't run very fast either, so he was nicknamed that in school.
Nicknamed Sparky?
Yes. They nicknamed him after that old horse.
Did you know him a little bit in school?
While I was in school.
Yeah. What,
No, I was out of school.
when you met him?
Mhm.
Okay.
And you went into the grocery business together?
Uh-huh.
And what was the name of your market?
Summers Market
And where was it located?
in Chelsea.
How many?
There was it started out with we were the third generation to own the business.
How many years did you do that?
You mean in one locality?
Yeah, you and your husband. How many years were you in the kind of food business, marketplace?
I didn't.
How many years were you in the grocery business?
Years and years.
That was his career,
Yes.
was it? So when would you have stopped doing that? When did he stop having the grocery?
A long time ago. That doesn't answer you.
Well, when he was 65 and retired, or?
Oh. No. I came to Claremore in 73, and it was a few years before that.
So in the late 60s?
Yeah.
Okay, close enough.
Yeah.
Did you work
Oh, yes.
in the store
Mhm.
doing a clerk or keeping the books or
Yeah.
what?
All three.
All of it? Whatever need doing, you did, huh?
Customers can be customers are always interesting. Do you have any good stories from the days you worked in the grocery store about any unique customers?
No. We had the elderly man. Of course, he'd seen the elderly. That was, we also delivered groceries. But he couldn't drive. So, I would drive and he would take the groceries into people's residences. You didn't have to take driver's license or anything. You just got in the car, drove.
And it was a stick, I guess?
Yeah.
Had to change gears?
Yes.
Yes. So that was the days before a grocery cart too, did they?
Oh, yes. Well, I say yes. Later in life, we got some carts. No, they'd give it. Well, one man I remember, he wouldn't give you his, most people gave you their grocery list, and you got them, put them on the counter for him. But he would let me have his grocery list. He wanted to go one time, he wanted a person, whoever was waiting on him, go and get one thing. Then he'd read you another one.
Well then, from what you describe, it wasn't like the grocery stores today where you go up and down the aisles. They come to a counter and tell you what they want. Interesting. Yeah. And women would bring in eggs to sell you and that sort of thing? Did you live in town when you were doing that? So after you were married, the house you lived in, did it have running water and electricity?
Oh, yes.
By that time in the 30s, it would have.
But we're about up to date.
Well, he would have to order his groceries from various places, your husband, to stock the shelves?
We had groceries brought in. As far as I remember, the various companies had representatives that came to you and got your list of what you needed in order and paid for it.
Okay. You had to have a budget then.
Yeah, huh?
Well, was religion an important part of your life,
Oh, yes,
even as a youngster?
yes. Even when there was always a baby in the family. Yeah, my mother and dad would carry the baby and we'd all walk to church, about 2 miles.
What church was it?
Methodist.
Methodist.
Mm-hmm.
And your parents had come to Oklahoma from Illinois? Portland, Illinois?
Indiana.
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 Excuse me. Were they from Indiana or had they come from some other place?
They came from Ohio.
And they came to Oklahoma before the oil.
Mm-hmm.
And did they stay?
Mm-hmm.
Did they? And how many children do you have?
But I had 2.
Boy, girl?
Mm-hmm.
One of each?
Mm-hmm.
And would you have them do chores?
Oh, honey, if you could stand up and walk, you had chores.
Did you have your kids do chores?
Oh, yes.
Did you? Not kill the chicken
But
though?
not like I did.
Wash the dishes?
Mm. Sometimes.
Well, what was the favorite dish that your mother made that you liked the most?
Chicken and noodles.
Oh.
She made her own noodles.
And did she teach you how to do that?
Oh, you always had to help. So you learned that way.
So do you like her chicken and noodles?
I've never had her chicken and noodles.
You haven't?
I haven't.
Oh, I still make them.
You do?
Uh-huh.
We'll have to bring them to what holiday is next? Try and think what holiday is next you can bring them for.
Oh.
Memorial Day?
Right?
Terry and her family likes them so well.
Graduation.
Yeah. Yeah, there we go.
I said Terry and her family likes them so well, so
Mhm.
whenever they come, sometimes I have them for them.
So you still cook,
Mm-hmm.
but do you make the noodles yourself like your mom did?
No, I buy Amish noodles.
Mother used to tell me your joke was when you'd bring like a pie or something, someone would say if you made it, and you said, well, I baked it,
Yes.
because you put it in
That's
the oven.
Ron has very good frozen pies.
Well, do you have the recipe for the homemade noodles?
I buy a package for the Amish noodles.
But do you have the recipe that your mother
No.
fixed them by?
Mm,
No.
I wouldn't be interested enough to save it.
Take shortcuts when you can get them, huh?
True, true.
Did you ever travel in your life?
Not until I was an adult. My sister next to me was 5 years younger, and she and her husband was more influential in the economy, and she would take the sisters to different places.
Did you ever have a favorite place?
No. Well, she never would choose a place that you had to do a long drive. Yeah, so we just more or less learned the countryside.
In Oklahoma or just the states around
Oh,
Oklahoma?
it just states around.
Do you remember seeing your first airplane?
Not really.
And you remember getting your first washing machine?
Oh, yes. Yes, you washed on a, what they call a scrub board.
And then after that, what did you?
Oh, it was a, my dad fixed a gasoline motor and applied it somehow.
Oh, he rigged his own.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. That's interesting. About a dryer.
Clothesline.
Well, that always brings.
There wasn't such a thing as a dryer.
That brings us to the question of, over the course of your life, what do you see as the biggest invention that has it had an impact on your life?
Refrigerators.
Refrigerator. Okay.
And like you said, the washing machine, the dryer, and the vacuum sweeper.
Well, then you had carpet.
Well, you had rugs.
Rugs.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
You took them, put them out on the line, and had something you beat the dust out of.
How often would you do that?
Well, you didn't, with a house full of kids and all, you just did it whenever it was necessary.
When Oklahoma, that was a lot of wind and dirt coming in, wasn't it?
Well, we lived in a camp that had a lot of trees, so we didn't have all that dust. When they talk, you probably had reference to the Dust Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that was, people did that themselves, farmers. People didn't try it. They always liked to, if your parents, grandparents did a certain way to plow and all, you just kept that up. And they caused the Dust Bowl. Because it was just ground.
They overworked it, didn't they?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I know you didn't have air conditioning. How would you keep cool during the summers?
You slept out on the front porch.
Pull the mattress out or just?
No, we just put down a comforter,
Okay.
quilt.
Oh. And it still got hot, I guess, didn't it?
Oh, yes.
Did it?
Yes, yes.
Well, were you a member of a homemaker club?
No.
Didn't have time, you were working. Right. Did you sew yourself?
Well, I tried.
Make quilts?
Not really, but we would cut what they call quilting blocks. And, well, we had to do that first. There's some Kleenex.
It's just itchy.
You're allergic to me. I am yeah, you are allergic to me.
Only if you have cats in the house, then I'm in trouble. So tell me a little bit about your two children.
Ask Kylie about them.
Well, you'll have to tell them about when they were younger. I didn't know them when they were younger.
I know you didn't. I was trying to shift the responsibility.
How many years apart?
They're 21 months apart.
For 2 years. And were they active in like Boy Scouts or 4-H or anything like that?
Yes, very. They were active in all school activities. But
Was
I don't think any of them played basketball. I don't remember.
was music a part of
Yeah, oh,
your
yes.
piano
And the
or
piano. Everybody usually had a piano in your house.
you had one in yours?
Mm-hmm.
Do you play?
No.
Who played?
Well, I tried, but my youngest sister, she told herself, and she was quite a composer. Not a composer, but let's see, what would you call her? Anyway, a high school girl really taught her how to play.
How did your parents come to have a piano?
Well, that was classical. If you had a piano, you had something.
Mm-hmm. Had they bought it or had they
No,
How-
bought it.
bought it? It came with them from Indiana?
No.
Got it here?
Mm-hmm.
What did your children play?
Yes, my daughter.
Okay. So on the other end, how about dancing?
Oh, we all loved to dance.
What kind of dance?
Oh, what do you call ballroom dancing or not? I see. Then there was another. We lived among the Indians, and we would go to their stomp dancing.
Can you tell us a little bit more about that? We haven't had anyone tell us.
Oh,
What Indian?
Osages.
Osage, okay. And they'd let you come watch?
Oh, yes.
Could you participate?
Oh, yes. You know, you'd try anything. Yeah.
Hmm.
Did you dress up and wear the Indian attire, or did they just let you do it in your own clothes when you
Oh, we
went to the stomp?
just what we regular wore.
Mm-hmm. Around a fire and everything?
Yeah, some did. But really, I don't know how it came into person's lives to be afraid of Indians, because they were just another person.
Did they go to school with you?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Church?
Mm-hmm.
And did you play with them then?
Oh,
Play
yes.
with them too?
Oh, yes. They were in school.
I don't know. Did they come into your parents' or your in-laws' store, grocery store? They come into your grocery store?
Yes.
Yes. Well, I don't know then. Wasn't on your watch.
I want to know, did you ever have any good friends in life?
Good friends.
Mm-hmm.
I always had friends.
There's a picture. I'm just curious. I'm looking in your book. Geraldine Stanley. You took a picture with her.
Yes. She worked at the telephone office and lived a few blocks from where I was.
You had your picture taken together.
Uh-huh.
What's that all about?
Well, I had, I was a person that just tried whether you knew what you's doing or not. I had made a corduroy two-pieced outfit for myself. Well, she said, if I buy the material, will you make me one? So that's where that comes in, that picture comes in.
You wore the outfits you made.
Uh-huh.
1932.
1932. Did you have a pattern?
If you could, no.
No?
My mother would buy one pattern. I think they were 25 cents then. And she made everything like off that one pattern.
Hey. That's pretty neat.
Modeled you're modeling your dress.
So the telephone office that she worked in,
It was upstairs in the building.
kind of like a switchboard.
Mm-hmm. Where you plug in. Now, if you rang, she plugged that in first, and who you wanted to talk to, well, you took another plug and put it in another plug.
Mm. And how many would be in that office? A couple of people or just one?
No, just one or two, never over two.
Those were the days of party lines, I'm told.
Oh, yes.
No secrets.
No secrets.
Do you remember how many rings your would get you?
I think it was two rings.
2 shorts, 2 longs, or
Be two longs.
2 longs. And would you pick up when it wasn't your ring? Would you pick up the phone if it wasn't your ring?
I don't remember doing that.
Oh. You weren't too
But
curious then?
You can pick up and listen to somebody else. Is that
That's what I
meant?
mean.
Yes, you can do that.
But I was asking, did you do that?
Yeah, yes.
So you were curious then too? Huh?
Yeah.
Oh, well. So cell phones today, do you use them? A cell phone?
You mean
Do you have a
telephone
cell-
like that?
Mm-hmm. No, do you have a cell phone?
Like this one.
Oh, I
No.
don't have one like that.
Do you use a computer much?
I don't, not at all. I don't know anything about it.
Okay.
I want to know, did you ever think you'd make it to 100?
No. I never even thought about it. Lots of people died in their 50s and 60s. Yeah. You didn't live to be an elderly. But an old elderly.
What do you think your secret is? So,
Just believing in God. I really think He has done a lot in my life.
Well, what gets you out of the bed in the morning?
The alarm.
you walked into that one.
I'd say humor has something to do with your still being here.
What time do you usually wake up?
7 o'clock.
And what's a typical day like for you?
Well, typical morning.
Yeah.
First thing I do, I get up, I brush my teeth. Then I come out and fix my breakfast. And that is always cereal and a banana. No cooking. And then you just, laundry, it seems like there's always laundry.
No coffee?
Oh, yes. I get the coffee pot ready in the evening to just plug it in when I get up.
And lunch? Is it lunch or dinner? For
Our
your
dinner's our main meal.
For
I just eat whatever uses, well, what we call leftovers for lunch.
the noon meal, do you call it lunch or do you call it dinner?
And we call the evening meal dinner.
Dinner. And not supper?
No,
It's dinner. Okay. And then lunch is lunch.
What time do you usually go to bed?
between 10 and 11.
So what do you do between lunch and bedtime?
You're a housewife, aren't you?
No.
You're not?
There's always something to do, I know.
Yes.
Yes. Do you read?
Some. I've always had weak eyes, so I can't read any length of time.
Watch television?
Mm-hmm.
Do you keep up with what's going on through the newspaper or through the TV?
I get the Tulsa Daily World in the morning, and I watch TV more when I'm eating my lunch or in the evening.
Have a favorite show?
Yes. Wheel of Fortune.
That was my mother, so I understand. That and Lawrence Welk.
Oh yes, Lawrence Welk.
Yeah.
Hee-haw.
Yeah, some of his older shows are on TV. Yeah.
Well, did you ever meet Will Rogers?
Uh-huh.
Tell us about that.
Yeah. Well, he was just a person. You know, you didn't realize when you were younger that he was so important. He was just another person.
Where did you meet him? Did you meet him at the grocery store, or was he just around town?
Meet who, hon?
Will Rogers.
I don't remember our first time. You didn't realize he was so an important person. But he wasn't when he was growing up. He was witty, I remember. He was witty.
Is there anything on your bucket list you still want to do?
I wish I could walk where I wouldn't need my walker. That's my wish in life, but it's not going to happen.
Or is there
Because
any-
I've had both hips replaced from falls.
And how old were you when you had that done?
Oh, that's just a matter in the last 10, 15 years.
Oh. When you were in your 80s-ish?
Yeah,
80s.
I'd have to be.
Do my math too. That's pretty good though to still be, I mean they don't do hip replacements on a lot of people that age, so you were in good shape for them to do that.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
Any place you want to go that you haven't been?
Most people say, hey, how are you? But that doesn't come to my mind. I would like to travel. At one time I spoke with my sister that's younger than I. We would take short trips.
Where would you want to go?
Well, where would I want to go?
Uh-huh.
I don't think of any specific place. I would just like to take short travels here and there to see the country, see the state.
Go down to Tallahena Drive or?
Oh, yes, of course, that's something you do.
They say it's pretty. I haven't done it.
And, yeah, well, it's one of those wonders.
So you're pretty set on where you are then?
Yes.
Yes. What did you do for your birthday? Your last birthday?
Let me see. Well, usually the church has the tea, start from there. And then just family comes and goes. Yeah.
Lots of cake and cards, huh?
Yes.
And it'll be noodles next time.
There better be. Or special request.
I'll fix you some chicken and noodles one of these days. You mean that Berlin hasn't had them?
Nope.
I think that used to be Bob's kind of one of his favorites.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I know.
Mm.
We always requested the mac and cheese.
Yeah. Yes.
Homemade macaroni and cheese?
Yes. I still like that.
Yeah.
You have any questions you want to ask her while we've got her on the hot seat?
I think we kind of hit every point. So Mother was telling me that your mom was actually Catholic,
She was reared a Catholic.
very Catholic. So how did you get to the Methodist Church?
Undoubtedly through my dad.
Mm-hmm. It was just, he was Methodist?
Yeah. Well, when we came to Oklahoma, the only church there was I can't think of it. I'll think of it later. It isn't like Baptist or Methodist, but we would laugh and say Mama would still make her chicken and noodles and go to their evening get-togethers.
Mm-hmm. But you were baptized Methodist? You were baptized Methodist?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Oh, let me tell you about my baptism. Well, of course, you baptized in the creek. You didn't have baptismal any place to. So anyway, Mama thought you had to have a white dress on. So she got some unbleached muslin. Do you know what that is?
I do.
Okay. Well, I had on and it had a full skirt. And whenever they put me backwards to baptize me, well, here come this unbleached muslin skirt that covered my face. Because it didn't had so much starch in it, you know, it didn't take the water.
I'm just surprised there was enough water to do it. In the
Well,
creek.
there was we lived between what they call two creeks. One was Hominy and one was Bird Creek. So we were close to the Hominy.
And how young would you have been when you were baptized?
14.
14. So that's why the memory's so. Yeah.
I'm getting that bleached muslin over my face.
So then what about your wedding dress? Did you have to make that yourself, or
What was it, huh?
your wedding dress?
My wedding dress, no.
You buy it?
But, well, you got married in what you had. And some time ago, Tom found us a newspaper describing the wedding. And I had on a blue dress because that was my best wear. He said, well, why not white? And I said, well, you couldn't afford a white one then. You wore what you had. So my wedding dress was a blue dress I had.
And did you get married at church or at home? Or
Church.
at church?
Mhm.
Did you have a honeymoon?
Not really.
Not really.
Yeah.
There wasn't money for one, and if it was in
No,
the early 30s.
Well, I want to know, when history is written, what would you like it to say about you?
But
When history is written, what would you like it to say about you? How do you want to be remembered?
happy. Was that too quick an answer?
Well, do you have a motto or a piece of advice you could give people who want to live a long time?
Enjoy every day. Even when things goes wrong, you have to think at the end of the day, well, it wasn't so bad.
That's good.
Oh, what makes you happy?
I guess just because I know people love me.
That's a good answer.
Yeah.
Well, do you hum or sing to yourself or anything like that?
No, I used to sing a lot, really,
Mm.
at church and solos, but I had bronchitis so much that it just takes your voice.
Have you heard her sing?
I have
No,
not.
no, because I can't sing anymore. You can't. I doubt if I could get tenor or sopranos rather over a B plus.
You could carry a tune a little bit though.
Oh yes, oh yes.
Yeah. Hum or whistle then?
No, I hum.
Do you have a favorite song?
Hmm?
Do you have a favorite song throughout all the years?
Yeah. I think it come to mind. I come to the garden alone.
Well, the dew's still on the roses.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Mm.
Yeah, I know that one. Hey. I can't do my math, but I know that one. Well, living independent, do you take care of all your bills and stuff today, or do you have a little help?
I did until just about 6 months ago. Yeah,
Still doing your math then?
yeah.
Yeah.
Barbara does most of it now.
And do you still drive?
Oh no, I sold my car when I was 90.
When you were 90, okay.
Yeah, well, traffic was getting quite busy here in Claremore, and I was afraid I might hurt somebody, so I just quit.
You made a decision yourself and did it.
Mhm.
That's impressive.
Yeah.
How would you get around town in the last 10 years then,
Friends,
friends?
and sometimes family.
I guess we should back up. When did you lose your husband? Do you know?
Let's see, I moved in 73 here. I must have been 71.
So it's been a while.
Mm-hmm.
You have a good independent streak. Not afraid to be by yourself. Mm-mm.
I make sure the doors are locked.
Yeah, that's good.
How important are those friends that take care of you?
Now,
Hmm.
well, you see, as I get older, my friends get older, so they're in a position that they're limited for what they can do.
It's nice to have a great granddaughter around, isn't it?
Yes,
Yeah. She makes you happy.
yes.
Anything else you want to add before we close?
No, I think you covered more than I thought you would.
You've been great.
Well, thank you.
You might think of something else you want to add. Give you a minute. No?
Well, what is your activity?
We'll shut off and then we'll talk, okay? Anything else you want to ask?
Oh,
Anything else you want to ask? All right, I'll say thank you for sharing with us today.
well,
It's been a pleasure.
well, it's all because of her.
Yes, she
And what
said she would
what it means to you.